Next up, we have Professor Janet Dine. Janet, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for being here, it's a fantastic day. I'm exhausted. You exhausted? Yes, yes. So I'm not going to do a lot of detail. The one thing I thought has been quite fascinating today, and people were saying enormous, complicated things, but nobody talked about growth. This is really weird. Why not? I mean, this is really crucial for the environment. Not only for companies, but also for each country as well. So we need to think about that. And I think what we want to do now, is to talk about unsocial companies, as I think you were saying just now. Can we have one, please? Oh, sorry, I've got to do that, yeah, okay. Yeah, oh, that's the wrong one. Yeah, that's the one. Now, that's pretty unsocial. This is multinationals, and a lot of them are like this. This is actually Philips. I've pinched it, of course. Why do we want this? Why do we want one of these things? I really want to know. We know that multinationals are full of human rights, environmental violations. There's a huge power imbalance between people, governments, and the multinationals. I mean, democracy is dying because of that. The multinationals are so powerful. So my theory is that governments and the people must to push back against multinational companies. So why not get rid of subsidiaries? What are they for? What are they for? And I was in Geneva, and I was saying just exactly that. And everybody said, well yes, but nobody told me why we want it. So it seems to me we must think about that. We've said a lot about lifting the veil. You said about that particularly. I'm not going to talk a lot about it, but there is one other UK case which I think nobody's noticed. It's Pret. It's a Supreme Court. It's very complicated now because we've got a Supreme Court in the UK as well as the US. It was a divorce settlement, or a case, where the husband had hundreds of companies in all sorts of places. But eventually, the Supreme Court said that the properties were held in trust. So that's a sort of normal thing. But it's interesting because we've not had this idea for some time in the UK, and there are other issues now. There are also corporate social responsibility cases. This is Shell, a terrible oil spill in Nigeria. A huge spill, but it was settled. That's one of the problems, of course, with civil claims. On the other hand, there was the parent and the subsidiary were involved with the jurisdiction. It was the UK jurisdiction. So that is interesting, I think, because again, the lifting the veil is sort of getting a bit sort of transparent, which is quite good. There's also Chandler of Cape, but I think the next presenter is going to talk about this. I think it's particularly important. I'm just going to say that it's a double lifting the veil, because it's not only between other companies, either subsidiaries and the subsidiaries, but also in the individuals as well. So it's a double lifting the veil. So I'll leave those. Right, okay, let's go back to Albanian company law. I was very privileged to actually draft with a friend, and he's still a friend, and this is amazing, in Albania, but also, in fact, in Kosovo and Serbia. Now, it took a long time, and we started in Kosovo in 2003. We didn't get very far in Kosovo because US aid was so powerful, and our draft disappeared somewhere. But one of the parts of this particular law involves the group structure. These are the articles 207 to 2111. Two sorts of systems in the groups. One is the equity group, which is really boring because we all know about it, and that's the German system. It's an equity group because it involves 30% of the subsidiary. So they're linked in that way in the equity, the shareholders. We thought that this would be a better way to do it. It's a control group. A parent-subsidiary relationship shall be deemed to exist where one company is accustomed to act in accordance with the directions and instructions of another company. Now, I pinched that actually from the UK. It says the shadow directions. A control group. Why does that matter? Because you can sue wherever the subsidiary is registered. So it's extraterritoriality. Basically, you can sue the parent or the subsidiary in any jurisdiction. Now, if you go right back to, come on, that one. Okay, so in Albania, you could actually sue all of these things. Now, I think the best thing to do is to get rid of these subsidiaries. It's a ridiculous thing to do. But, I mean, and that's pretty radical. So I think if you can try and sue all of the subsidiaries, I think that would be an excellent idea as well. So there's two possible ways to do it. Remember that the control group involves tort victims as well as tax debts, because that's been really important recently. But these things are unsocial. So can't we stop it? Can we actually have social companies instead? It seems to me that that's a better way for the environment and for equality as well. Thank you very much.